The glass wall of Liu's office shimmered under the dull afternoon light, the air thick with tension. Vine stood quietly near the desk, her heart beating unevenly as she clutched the small envelope that held her pregnancy reports. She had rehearsed this moment 100 times, how to tell him gently, how he would smile and pull her into his arms, but the look in his eyes wasn't warmth, it was suspicion. So that's where you were? His voice came out sharp, each word dripping with disbelief. He toasted his coat aside, his jaw tightening in his arms again. My spirit hissed. She shook her head, her voice trembling yet steady. Leo, I fainted in the office. Jungkook just helped me before I could fall. Leo scoffed, running a hand through his hair in frustration. His eyes burned with jealousy. Oh, he helped you. Like he's always been helping. You think I don't see the way he looks at you? Vine's chest clenched in pain. It's not like that. He's just my friend. You are making something out of nothing again. Liu stepped closer, his voice low, dangerous. You think I'm stupid? The great June Jungkook, rich, powerful, every woman wants him, and yet he's just friends with my wife. She took a step back, her back brushing against the staircase railing behind her. You are crossing the line, Liu. You don't even trust me anymore. I came here to tell you something important. You laughed, bitterly shaking his head. Let me guess. You want to leave me and run to him, right? Because he's got more money, more power. Vi's eyes filled with tears, her voice breaking. Leo, I was here to tell you that I am. But before her words could reach him, his anger exploded. His hand moved in the air, shoving her shoulder roughly. It wasn't a planned push, but a blind outburst, and the world seemed to freeze for a moment. Her heels slipped. The sound of her body hitting the stairs echoed in the empty office. The papers scattered. Her head hit the edge of a step. Leo stood frozen, his anger fading into horror. Ryan, she didn't move her hand twitched weakly before her body went still. Liu's heart raced, fear flashing across his face, but his pride, that foolish, wanted pride, made him step back. He turned away, his breathing uneven. She will be fine. She always exaggerates. He left, and the room went silent. She was laying there unconscious. Minutes later, her phone buzzed on the floor beside her hand, and she weakly opened her eyes and with trembling fingers reached for it. Barely able to slide the screen open, her vision blurred, everything fading to grey. Jungkook, she whispered, tears slipping down her pale cheeks. It didn't take him long to find her when Jungkook buzzed into the building. His face went pale. He didn't say a word, just lifted her into his arms, his breath shaking, his voice low and terrified. I have got you, Ryan. Stay with me, please. At the hospital, the smell of antiseptic filled the air. He sat beside her bed, his black shirt stained from carrying her, his knuckles clenched wide. When the doctor came out, Jungkook's eyes searched his face desperately. She's stable now, but I'm sorry she lost the baby. The word hit him harder than a bullet. He stepped inside, his heart breaking seeing her fragile frame on the bed, her eyes barely open. When she looked up at him, the pain in her eyes wasn't just physical. It was a kind that come from being betrayed by the one you love. It's gone. My baby, the only one I can say mine, is gone. Her voice cracked as tears streamed down her face. Jungkook sat down beside her, his own eyes glistening. He didn't speak at first. He just reached for her trembling hand, holding it gently like something sacred. He will pay for this. His voice was low, trembling with rage and sorrow. He doesn't deserve to breathe after what he had done to you, or even he live, I will make his life miserable. Vine turned her face away, exhausted, broken. I just want this to end, Jungkook. I am filing for divorce. I can't live like this anymore. He looked at her, something raw flickering in his eyes. Guilt, love, anger, everything tangled together. I will handle everything. You don't need to do a thing. This time, I won't back away, not again. Vine's brow frowned slightly, her voice weak but confused. What do you mean this time? Jungkook exhaled slowly, his thumb brushing the back of her hand with care. I have loved you for years, Vian, since before Leo came into your life, but you were happy. And I didn't want to ruin that. I thought he could give you everything I couldn't. Her eyes widened, tears spilling again, but this time not only from pain. You love me all this time? Jungkook smiled faintly, his gaze soft and full of age. He was in love with her, but when he realized and wanted to confess, Vian's parents already fixed her marriage with Leo. He wanted to tell her, but she was happy. She looks happy with him. and Jungkook stepped back because he didn't want to break his friendship with her, like his heartbreak the day she got married. It wasn't like he didn't have girls. He was known as playboy in their school time, but when he realized Vine was the one he and his heart wants, it was already too late. Still do, but right now that doesn't matter. What matters is you, healing, standing again and never letting anyone break you like this ever again. He leaned forward, pressing a soft kiss on her forehead, his voice trembling but certain. Rest fine, I'm not leaving this time. Not for anyone. And Leo, he will regret ever touching you, ever made you cry or hurt you. And for the first time in a long while, Vine closed her eyes not out of fear but because she finally felt safe. She finally felt she is going to break that cage, that invisible chains around her ankles, gripping her for that relationship that never gives her happiness and love she deserved and wished. As Vine closed her eyes and a drop of tears slid down the corner of her eyes, Jungkook's fist clenched, his jaw tightened. He was the kind of man whose presence filled a room before he even spoke. Both shoulders, perfectly tailored suits, a tattoo peeking from his wrist. June Jungkook was danger wrapped in quiet confidence. To outsiders, he was the dark charm everyone warned you about but secretly desired. But to those who truly knew him, he was something deeper, loyal to a fault, fiercely protective and unbearably tender toward the one he loved. He had a habit of keeping his emotions locked behind walls of sarcasm and indifference, yet his eyes always betrayed him, especially when it came to her. She was his weakness, the only person who could calm the storm that brewed inside him for years. He had hidden those feelings behind laughter and teasing, watching from the sidelines as her life unfolded in ways he couldn't control. He stayed in the dark, protecting her from afar, convincing himself that seeing her smile, even if it wasn't for him, was enough. But that illusion shattered the day he saw her broken, her fragile body covered in bruises, her eyes hollow with betrayal. The darkness inside him snapped awake. The same man the world feared, the one who commanded empires and crushed enemies with a single word, now had a personal war to fight for her. This wasn't about love anymore, it was about redemption, protection, revenge, and this time he wasn't going to lose her again. The days after the accident blurred into weeks. The sterile scent of the hospital was replaced by the soft aroma of lilies in Jungkook's private penthouse. He had insisted, no, he ordered that Vine stayed under his care until she recovered completely. Vine tried to argue, but her body was weak, her spirit even weaker, and Jungkook, he wasn't someone you could argue with when his jaw was clenched. He stone cold, yet his eyes soft every time they looked at her. Every morning he was there, black shirt rolled up to his elbows, making her tea, silently adjusting her blanket when she fell asleep on the couch at night. When the city lights painted the skyline gold, she would sometimes wake up to see him sitting across the room, his head tilted back, his hand covering his eyes as if holding back too many thoughts. One evening, as Vine sat on the balcony wrapped in a shawl, she finally spoke softly. You don't have to do all this, Jungkook. I will be fine on my own. Jungkook turned from the window, his voice low and steady. You said that once before too when Leo started yelling at you in front of everyone. You still said you were fine. Her eyes fell, the memory cutting deep. That was different. Jungkook walked closer, stepping just a few feet away, his voice softer now. No, it wasn't. You always choose silence, even when people hurt you, but not anymore. Not when I am here. There was a weight in his tone, the kind of determination that made her chest tighten. That night, while she rested, Jungkook stood in his office surrounded by files, contracts, and photographs, evidence of Liu's corruption, gambling debt, and affairs. His men had gathered everything. His finger brushed against one photograph where Liu stood laughing with a woman and a cold smile spread across Jungkook's face. He took everything from her. Now I will take everything from him. He gave the order. His empire moved like shadows. Liu's company began to crumble quietly first. His investors withdrew, then his accounts froze, and finally his name began suffering in scandals no one could escape. Meanwhile, Vine was slowly healing. She began smiling again, especially when Jungkook teased her with small remarks. The winter became their comfort, the quiet evenings turned into soft laughter. The pain didn't vanish, but it dulled, replaced by something warmer, something terrifyingly close to love. One morning, as Vine packed her things, she found an envelope on the table. Inside were her divorce papers, already signed by Leo. Jungkook stood behind her, his hand in his pockets, his tone calm. "It's over, you are free now." Her threat tightened as she looked at him. "Did you do this?" Jungkook met her gaze, expression unreadable. He just faced what he deserved. Vine felt tear pricking her eyes. She stepped closer, her voice trembling. "You didn't have to go this far for me." He smiled faintly, a small, tired smile that made her heart ache. "You have no idea how far I will go for you. I know you are strong enough to fight for yourself now, but I don't want his shadow even fall on you." The silence between them was heavy, the kind of silence that said everything words could not. And in that moment, as the sunlight touched her face, Jungkook realized that the woman he had sworn to protect had already become his peace, his reason, his heart. But for Ryan, it was still confusing, a storm of guilt, pain, and unspoken love, because after losing everything, she was afraid to love again. But Jungkook didn't force her. He respected her decision, her feeling, and knew her scars will take time to heal, and he waited. After months of pain and healing, Ryan finally began to feel her heart settle again. The quiet chaos inside her was replaced by peace, the kind that only comes after a storm. She had started working again, spending her mornings with coffee and the sound of rain instead of tears, and through it all, Jungkook was still there, not hovering, not forcing himself into her space, just there. He had showed up with her favorite food when she forgot to eat, drive her home when she worked too late, make her laugh when the world felt heavy. Somewhere between his unspoken care and his unwavering presence, Vian's wall began to crack. The man she once saw as a friend had turned into the only person who made her feel safe again, the only one who looked at her without pity, only warmth. And one evening, when Jungkook tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear and said softly, "You deserve the world, Vian," she felt something inside her shift. For the first time in a long while, she wanted to believe in love again. And this time, she wanted to trust not fate, not chances, but him.